So, as I was saying, this is the Vale Cemetery, and you can see the evidence of vandalism. Apparently, the staff at the cemetery has tried to avoid it by adding concrete to some of these headstones, and they've even gone so far as to pull it up. So, let's find out who hates Jessie Hart, wife of Chelsea A. Halcock, 1888 to 1979. How's that possible? Well, anyhow, it might be personal. Look into the names here. See why some are selected to repeatedly deface, and maybe we could get to the bottom of this. So this is the vast cemetery. It goes back quite a ways. There are maps, certain streets where the cemetery opens up to a gate. There's on one street, it actually shows you what to look for and how it's actually supposed to be organized. I'm not sure if it's different names, different years, or different classes of people, actually, like that it might be something like that too. So in this case, if somebody knows who did this, they can turn them in, they can be anonymous and get $500 or more for defacing this property, which really shouldn't have a personal beef against somebody that was born in 1880. Although if it goes to 1979, maybe. It looks like they're trying to see which ones have concrete on them and what for. I mean, is there a marble retrieval center that would be so low down, dirty, rotten that they would see that it was a headstone and still accept it and offer money for it, or what is it about? So if you see here, there's also a birdhouse here, and that is for nature conservation purposes too. The blue bird might be it might be a welcome place for the bluebird that has the smallest eggs. It lays the smallest eggs, and or maybe even hummingbirds. I see the hole to enter is very small. I mean, it's pretty obvious who had the money here and what they paid for. A lot of circle shapes. Somebody was some phallic symbols. I don't know, maybe pens. I think that person was right when they said actually it's supposed to represent an inkwell and a pen over in Washington, and that could be it. I mean, having to do with their business. I mean, the Industrial Revolution. You can see how far it goes back. You could get lost in here. You really could. And I always do. It's like the last time I got lost. So I'm trying to follow major landmarks. There is a crematorium here. And there it is, folks. I sense it. Yes, it's a crematorium where they cremate people. So might want to wear the right shoes in this too, because these are dirt roads. Sometimes they a little bit flooded. You have to go a little off-road. But on a day like today, sandals. It's very beautiful here. And you can see why some people just sort of almost reside here to the point where they have to be asked to leave. But Homelessness has gotten out of hand here in upstate New York, and nobody is saying why. The less involved people don't seem to know why either. But I did make a joke some years back that, well, New York makes them, and then we ship them off to California. But obviously I was joking, but I heard somebody say, "Oh, I believe it. I think it's true." It's like, "Where were you from?" And I'm Sunday like, "Oh, I'm getting a ticket back home." And they feel like they won something, and so does California. But New York it should be ready for this kind of stuff. Oh, see, this is exactly what, it doesn't really specify that I know of. Somebody knocks that over, you witness it or catch it on film, and they are convicted, you can get $500 or more. Don't set somebody up to do it, but if you care about things, if you care about our past, and it shows that you're less likely to want to, it's one thing to want to go off the grid, I guess you could say. It's another thing to want to destroy the grid. So here's these birdhouses again. So they're doing multiple things here. A lot of these trees used to have a little plaque on them saying what they were and what type of tree and what year and things like that. Pencil rubbing is you put a piece of paper up and a soft, flat pencil, and you just rub, because sometimes it's so weathered by the wind you can't see what it says, but upon doing a pencil rubbing of a gravestone, you can find out what the gravestone might say. And I see civilization. All right, I was lost the whole time. I'm glad you were with me through. No, I'm just kidding. I was lost and I was so scared, and you didn't even detect it. No, just act like you know what you're doing. Fake it till you make it. All right. No. So you can see even here, this was a thoroughfare, but it must have gotten crazy, where people are pulling all the way through and trying to drive all the way out. It's really not for regular cars unless somebody is directing you through in certain situations, like a funeral that's large, or like things like that. I wonder if that's a real dollar symbol. Dremer. Interesting. I think that's some kind of an Asian symbol. Oh, here comes this guy. Oh, girl. 1900s. And then they have these other statues here. I don't think somebody likes that I have a camera on me, but I ain't breaking any laws. Get some more pictures. So there's these barriers here, and people walk around them, but it's to block cars. It used to be, like I said, a way you could get in, but they don't have their gate there anymore. And I'm going to take the short way out. I'm going to stop here. I think the way where you're walking through all those like Canadian trees, the big ones. Oh, it might be right over here then. Mary Louisa, my daughter of John H. and Elizabeth Seeley, born September 29, 1840, died January 14, 1901. I'm guessing that this is where like grounds maintenance puts things, or used to put things. But I'm sure it had every bit to do with the church at one time, and different locations where somebody might be on the property, that the church used to care for all of it, probably. I think there's an overhead map of everything, but you can see it's not a place. There's a lot of places where they do not like the chintzy little baubles at everybody's gravesite, but certain plants are allowed, like an actual perennial might be allowed, and you pay extra to have it maintained, or you agree to maintain it yourself in a lot of cases. Those blue jays, they've been making their presence known for about a month now. They're a little bit obnoxious, but at least it's a return to somewhat of normalcy.